That was the old baby clinic too, I worked in. See, I remember working in this big ward in the back.
How old were you in that photo?
Probably my 20s, 1974, so 21.
Retired nurse Wendy Skye Delaronde spent the majority of her career working at the Kateri Memorial Hospital Centre.
And still sometimes I look at it, I'm there, oh, we really have one, I just all of a sudden, sorry. But to think of all the work that people put in, the former directors, the people in the community giving money for the bingo and all these things so that our patients wouldn't go to a nursing home somewhere, how many miles away and you can't get there every day. It would be very sad for them,
Having access to a hospital with a long-term care facility nearby is rare in many First Nations, but this hospital has been a leader when it comes to First Nations healthcare. It was founded by Jesuit missionaries over 100 years ago, but in 1955, tired of financial woes and a building in need of repairs, the Order of Nursing Nuns who were running the place packed up everything and left. Newspaper articles covered how bingos were keeping the place afloat. Community volunteers had taken over running the hospital, handling everything from administration to nursing.
You'd hear the stories about how people used to do their jobs and then go to the hospital to volunteer to make sure it kept running, to make sure it was moving forward. That's the old hospital. In this position now, looking back at all the resilience that our community had to keep the hospital going. We have our new physio here, and this is our well baby clinic. So this was all brand new, renovated to a renovation and expansion.
So this is when I think it first opened, yeah.
The big complaint is the age of the building. It's not laid out as a hospital, and the nursing stations are right next to the patients' beds.
We were worried about fire all the time. We hung tin cans on the ceiling so the rain wouldn't come on our patients.
What do you think of when you see this?
Oh my God. I think how fortunate we are that these individuals advocated for us to get a new hospital.
At the time, it was the only First Nations-run health centre in Canada, but it was still falling apart. The community spent decades advocating for a new building, and in 1984, they were finally given a promise. The Quebec government would fund the construction, and Kahnawà would keep its independence.
We'd like to present you with this peace pipe. Where's the tobacco? Today is an important step in that joint approach.
The federal government always said that we are not responsible for building, capital funding. And the province, of course, said, well, we don't have the money, and also this is a building that would have to be put on reserve. So it was a constant ping-pong battle between back and forth, and it was very, very frustrating.
Donald Horne helped negotiate that promise. It took years, but in the end, control over the hospital stayed where it needed to, and the new building finally opened in 1986.
But I think we deserve it because of the fact that we worked so hard with what we were doing, and we made it.
That principle of community control was paramount.
So I'm very thankful for the 1984 agreement.
It's been 40 years since that agreement was signed. Kahnawà celebrated in April.
3 of my grandparents were here in the long-term care. And I think sometimes, we take for granted that we have something like this in our backyards.
And this hospital is a perfect example of cultural safety. People that can come here, most of the people here, they can speak their language, they understand the culture.
The hospital also marked the completion of another round of renovations and an expansion to meet the needs of a growing community.
The significance of the hospital is to be able to get your care within your community, and for our community members to be taken care of by community members as much as we can possibly do that.
For Skye Delaronde, the hospital's history needs to be remembered.
The younger people have to understand that this does not fall from the sky, all this stuff. You got to work for it. It's better that we're running it, You feel more confident. This is ours. Nobody's going to take it away. It's ours, And you can decide what's best for your own people.
This hospital is a place of many firsts, and people here are really proud of. The care that they receive from people they know in their own community is a shining example of what First Nations healthcare can be. For CBC Indigenous, I'm Kahnawà in Kahnawà.